Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Je, una biashara, taasisi au huduma unayotaka ijulikane zaidi? Karibu kwenye jukwaa lako Faraja TV. Kwa supermarkets, nyinyi ndio chanzo cha mahitaji ya kila siku. Bidhaa zenu ni sehemu ya maisha ya kila familia. Tangaza nasi na wafikie wanunuzi wapya kila siku. Kwa huduma za mazishi, tunajua umuhimu wa heshima na utu wakati wa majonzi. Tangaza huduma zako kwa ukarimu, staha na huruma tunayojali. Kwa makanisa na taasisi za kidini, tunaamini katika nguvu ya ujumbe wa kiroho. Tangaza ibada, mikutano na huduma maalum ufikie waumini popote walipo. Shule na vyuo, elimu ni msingi wa maendeleo. Tangaza udahili, mafanikio ya wanafunzi au hafla zako kupitia Faraja TV. Na kwa biashara zote, saloon, maduka, hoteli, kazi za mikono, hii ni nafasi yako ya kung'aa. Sisi tunatangaza, jamii inachagua. Wasiliana nasi leo. Faraja TV, sauti ya jamii, jukwaa la mafanikio. Tangaza, vuma, kuwa.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Blast show on Faraja TV,
where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts.
Your boy Big Man Kyuga,
and of course, Mickey Omchambulis,
and Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on Sport Buzz.
This is still Morning Updates, and my name is Vicky Kito. Thank you very much for still staying with us. You can tell us what you think about the show this morning, particularly about our top stories. Yeah, so do you think justice will be served? Do you think justice will be served? And we are talking about the death of Albert Ojwang, knowing very well that the case touches on top police boss. So you can continue sharing your thoughts about that through our social media handles, and that is Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya, and our SMS number is 0703339959. Remember to include your name and where you're watching us from. And this morning I'm not alone in studio. We have guests, but they're not new faces. Yeah, they were here the other week on Tuesday, and they are back again in the show to shed more light about everything we need to know about rehabilitation, and also David is going again to take us through what he went through in the rehab Center. So thank you very much for joining us. And we have Catherine Ngugi. She's an administrator at Presbyterian Care Center. Also, she's a counseling psychologist and a trained addiction counselor. Karibu sana, Catherine.
Thank you,
for
Vicky.
coming. And we have David Gitau, and he's a reformed alcoholic. Thank you very much, David, for coming.
Asante
It's
sana.
always a pleasure having you guys here in studio. Yeah, so we are going to start with the introduction. Already I've introduced you, but you can share anything else, maybe I've forgotten. Yeah, and anything you want us to know about you.
Thank you, Vicky. Good morning, viewers. As you've heard, my name is Catherine Ngugi. I manage Presbyterian Care Center. It's a rehab under the PCA Church. We are located at Mbaroko, Asia Area Center. Anytime you are in that area, just come visit us, get to know what happens in the rehab. It doesn't have to be an admission. Just come and say hi. We shall be glad to host you. Thank you.
Yeah, so you allow visitors.
Yes, yes, yes. You see people with the stigma around and you know, saying that kule ni kwa wazimu. That's ignorance. But when you come and I take you around and you see we have, you know, we don't hold mentally sick people because we have mental facilities. So whatever happens in a rehab is just like any other place or any other school. So we want to clear the stigma around that kule ni kwa wenda wazimu. Yeah. So it's important to visit a rehab and just get to know exactly what happens.
And you also allow access.
Yes, yes. It's only that okay, we just limit the, you know, taking of photos and all these things. But just come sit down with me, ask me what we do on a daily basis, and get to learn. You know, we learn every day. Get to learn something new instead of just ignoring and assuming that Catherine works na wenda wazimu, which is not true.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. At least now we know we can visit rehab centers.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, it's not only for the people who are victims of drug addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. David?
Yeah, thank you very much. I am David Getao Gadura. I am a recovery advocate and I'm a reformed alcoholic.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm the CEO of the founder of Fresh and Clean Mtaani.
Yes.
It's a mental awareness program.
Wow.
And I'm very proud to have 14K members and 14K followers in my Facebook page. And I talk to people about mental awareness campaigns and how they can get easily out of the chains of addiction.
Wow.
I really thank God because of it. Thank you very much.
Wow. And I just love the way he says, I'm a reformed alcoholic. You know, he's
Recovery
proud
advocate.
about that.
Yeah.
Wow. And I know you're encouraging other people who may be in the same situation and they are watching us this morning. Last time you were here, Catherine, you defined to us the term addiction. And for the sake of the viewers who maybe missed that show, you can again take us through what is drug addiction.
Wow, thank you, Vicky. Addiction, we define it as a compulsive brain disease that is characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use despite the harmful consequences. So simply to mean that we continue to use in as much as we are being wounded or we are going through problems. So that is basically addiction. It's a chronic brain disease. And being a brain disease is because there's a reward pathway that is created after we abuse any chemical of abuse. So the organ of the body that is most affected is the brain. Hence, it's a chronic brain disease. Yeah, and also we go deeper to define it as a characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use. That's why you find somebody drunk, got hit by a car, but the next day morning, with crutches and a plaster on the leg, they go look for the same drink. So despite the harmful consequences.
So you know it's harmful,
you do it because the brain is, you know, there's a reward pathway that already has been created in the brain, and you know, there is something that the brain is registered in the brain that this thing makes me feel this and this. So for me to maintain the high feel, I need to go back and get the same drink again and again.
Yeah. So can you say that drugs are pain relievers?
Yes, because everybody who is in addiction is trying to numb a certain pain. So people are going through challenges in life.
That is true.
And for me to forget whatever I'm going through, let me drink to forget my problems.
Wow.
Others are drinking to numb the pains of traumatic experiences they went through. So it's a pain reliever.
Yeah.
It's a pain reliever because everyone is trying to numb something. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're trying to escape from whatever they are going through in that particular moment.
At that particular, and that's why sometimes we say that alcohol, drugs are not the problem, but what are the underlying issues?
Yeah.
Why am I taking alcohol? And that's why, now having rehabilitation centers and we do counseling, we want to address the underlying issues because alcohol has been there since time immemorial. But this too much drinking, because we have people who drink and they are functional in life. But in as much as there's that problem with the brain, but again we ask ourselves, what are the underlying issues? Because every person who has a substance use disorder will tell you, this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've touched on an important issue. And last time you spoke about genetics. There are people who get addicted easily, and there are those people who may not get addicted. Is there any particular reason?
Yes, we said the factors that lead to addiction are many. Genetic being number one, because if I'm coming from a family where there's a history of drug abuse or alcoholism, chances are that I also get in the same trap. Somebody says that children of alcoholics have high chances of becoming alcoholics. So this is because of the genetic composition and being so predisposed of what is happening in the home environment, and therefore it's like something that is passed. It's like a transgenerational inheritance, or something that is passed from one generation to another. So that's why we say it's very important that we also reflect back from where we are coming from. And sometimes being so predisposed and understanding these things, we are able to safeguard ourselves. Yeah.
And last time you were here, you also talked about indicators, the symptoms that may actually show us that this person may be using drugs.
Yes. There's also many symptoms that you can look out to. Somebody who has been very, outgoing and, so charismatic, and all of a sudden this person just withdraws and he just wants to be in his or her own space. Somebody who now starts neglecting duty, going to work is not a problem as long as I've gotten my drink. Somebody who was used to look well groomed and smart, all of a sudden, now even not bathing is not a problem. Somebody who has been, doing things that makes him happy and enjoying, and all of a sudden every other thing becomes useless, and the drink now becomes the priority in his or her life. Then these are clear indicators that something is amiss. And again, somebody who a family man or a family lady who has been so responsible, and then all of a sudden nothing else is a priority, or nothing else matters any longer, then that tells you there's a problem. Somebody who has been so composed and when you start to argue, you agree, you disagree, and at some point you agree, and all of a sudden this person starts to go overboard, abuse, vulgar language, and without even caring what am I saying, whether this is an older person, whether I'm dealing with a younger person. So these are many among the many clear indicators that we look into. And again, simple things that parents also overlook. A child who has been performing well in school, and all of a sudden there's a drop in performance, then that tells you something is wrong. A child who used to talk to me closely, and nowadays he's at distance.
Antisocial.
No. She used to come, or he used to come close to me when you're talking. But nowadays he's on the door over there and I'm here. He or she doesn't want to come close to me because there is, something that is being concealed. Something maybe someone who has smoked marijuana and maybe he knows that mom will get to know the smell. So this person will keep a distance.
Okay.
And again, chewing in the morning, walking with Colgate tubes, chewing onions in the morning. So there's something that is being concealed, and as a parent, these are things we don't ignore. Yeah.
Yeah, and you may hide it. You may hide it for some time, but you will not hide it forever.
You can't hide it forever.
Yeah, because these indicators will always be there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so parents, be vigilant.
And again, we tell young people, you will hide when you're taking these drugs, but when the time comes to the time of you needing help, then it will be open to every person. But you've been doing it in secret, hiding yourself. But when you want to come out of it, even your Guka will know that you're taking to a treatment center. Yeah, but you've been hiding yourself. So when it gets out of hand, it becomes now everyone's problem. Yeah.
Thank you, Catherine. And now to David.
Yes.
Then you took us your journey when you started taking particularly alcohol and
Mogoka. Yeah.
And now in a nutshell, can you just take us through your journey again?
Okay, me, I've struggled in alcoholism for 11 good years. Since 2010, out of my high school, I started alcohol 2011. 2011, I started drinking. In campus, due to peer pressure, influence, so I went deeper into drinking. And I met people various of diverse regions, and we interacted. We became friends with so many people, and mostly I met all my fun was in drinking. You see, in those like 11 years, and at some point I even broke my leg. Yeah, at that 11 years time, I also I also tried to recover. I also tried to seek help from friends. From me in my life, I've met maybe 10 pastors. I've even prayed for me. I've even walked with me. They came at home. Mimi, let me say that I really struggled to quit alcoholism before setting my mind to even attend a rehabilitation center.
So you wanted to quit, but you were unable.
Yeah, I really wanted to quit, and it's very evidential because even there at home there is a church called the New Testament Church of God, which it is a church by a person called Reverend Pastor Mika, and Pastor Mika has been with me, and he started guiding me. It's like a rehabilitation in a society setup, but in a church. So I attended his sermons, his teachings. I walked with him, but still I did not manage.
You are struggling.
Yeah, I was struggling. I even met another neighbor of mine. He's called Pastor Makori, a neighbor of mine there. I even went to his church, but it did not work out. It reached a point that I was usually a very, very, very heavy drinker. And on Fridays, during Friday night, those people have kesha at home. They're just the neighbors. You know me, I used to go even to kesha. Yani nilikuwa tu nasikia Mungu anaweza nisaidia. I used to go to the kesha while I'm very drunk. And at some point niliendaga na rafiki yangu akazima stima hadi kwa kesha. Na karibu hata tuchapwe. So we got tunaenda tukiwa walevi. At sometimes even I remember I used to sleep at the floor of the church. You see? But the following day ananiongelesha ananiambia David, you will at one point change. So before setting my mind to go to the rehabilitation center at Presbyterian Care Center, I passed through a lot.
And I just want to big up the people that you've mentioned who stood with you, who supported you throughout the whole process. So that's amazing. And again, last time, Catherine, you touched on a rehabilitation center. So can you remind to us again what is a rehabilitation center?
Yeah, a rehab facility is you can say it's a collection house or a collection institution, because our main target is to get those people with disorders come out clean and well. So it's an institution that is it offers holistic programs or holistic treatment, because we are not only addressing the physical problems, we also go deeper to address the psychological problem of a person, and again we look at the spiritual problem of a person. So it's a holistic thing. That's why in the program we have what we call the spiritual therapy, and especially for us being a faith-based institution, we incorporate the spiritual basis, because we want to let this person, as he comes out of the facility, it's a holistic thing. We also do psychoeducation programs. This is to train or educate our clients on what entails the issues of psychology. You know, what are the problems in society, how do we deal with addiction, what are the types of drugs, what are the effects of drugs in the body, in our minds, all these programs. And we also do what we call occupational therapy, because sitting down all day and doing nothing. So we want these people to move around, play football, play volleyball, you know, do indoor games. So it's a comprehensive thing and very holistic that looks at a person in all dimensions, physical, psychological, and spiritual. Because in as much as we want to deal with the mind, this person, we don't meet the need, the physiological need, then there'll be a gap somewhere. If we only address a psychological issue and we fail to address the spiritual problem, then this person will be incomplete in a way.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive. And who can be admitted in the rehab? Because, you know, you cannot just walk to a rehab center and demand admission, and there must be a process. So who qualifies to be admitted in the rehab?
Yes, Vicky, a very good question. Who qualifies to be in a rehab institution or in a rehab facility? We talk of meeting the criteria of admission, and mostly it's people with substance use disorders. Initially, we used to call them addicts, but as we advance and as we continue learning, we maintain what we call the we call the unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard, this is to mean that I am a person before I became an addict. I am a human being before I became an alcoholic. So that dignity, let it remain. So it's persons with substance use disorder. Because sometimes some words are even stigmatizing. Exactly. Yes, I'm battling alcoholism and somebody is calling me, hey, you addict. You addict. Yeah. So with
because you know that is not a permanent name, it's just a condition, a disease, the way you you defined what a drug addict.
Yes. So people with substance use disorder will qualify to be in a rehab setup. And you've asked who qualifies to be admitted. So a person is brought to us, and in most cases by the significant others. Rarely do you get somebody walking in a rehab and tells you, I want to be admitted. In my line of service, 8 years down the line, only two ever brought themselves to the facility, and they told me I've come for admission. But the rest is the family who takes responsibility and looks, you know, it's like somebody who, it's like when you get home this evening and you get your son is sick, maybe malaria or a headache, you're the one to pick that child and take him to the hospital. Same case with addiction. So the family, and that's why at some point we'll say it's a family disease, because this person who is abusing drugs doesn't see the need of getting treatment, but the significant others or the whole family, the larger family, will sit down and say, our son is going through some challenges. Our son is drinking more than before. Can we look for a rehab? You know, and so when it starts from the family realizes that this person, the way he's going, it is becoming a problem. So they bring them to us. And on admission, there's what we do. Number one is screening and assessment from a psychiatric nurse, because this is the key, or this is the entry point. Because for us to determine whether we are going to admit you or not, it has to come from the psychiatrist.
So you have to be screened first.
Yes. You have to be screened and assessed first, because there are those who will come and we not admit them. because the nurse or the doctor at the facility will say that this is not addiction, this is a mental case. And
so do you have such cases?
Exactly, in many cases, in many cases, many have come, and we have declined at the admissions because from the look of things, you see that this is not person who is supposed to be in the rehab. So we refer them to a mental facility, first to be contained, and then they are brought back to us. Because in the rehab, what happens? The backbone or what holds us in a rehab is the individual counseling. So somebody who is not mentally stable, there's no way we can do a counseling or a therapy because counseling is a relationship and a talk, you know, one-on-one. So if this person is not mentally stable, there's no need of keeping him in a rehab facility. And that's why we work so closely with mental facilities around. We have one in Gilgil and we have one at PGH. So we work with referrals. And again, you'll also find that we also get referrals from PGH and from Gilgil that this person has gone through the mental treatment. So we want them to come to your facility. You continue doing counseling and giving them a proper diet as they continue with their medication. So it is something that so much correlates, and that's why we say that addiction and mental illness, you can never separate them. They so much correlate. And that's why you find somebody will come in with addiction and yet you're able to do the admission. Someone will come in with a mental condition. We first refer them to a mental facilities and then they are brought back to us for us to continue doing the counseling bit.
And also I've remembered last time you said you may be going through addiction and also mental health issue. So if someone has an addiction problem and a mental health problem, you can admit them.
Yes, as long as this person is not violent. And from the psychiatric, he's able to do the mental assessment and he's able to advise accordingly. This one we'll be able to manage. This one we cannot be able to manage. And this is where the problem comes in, Vicky. Many families are taking their loved ones to rehab facilities. But because there's lack of this proper assessment on intake, you find that somebody goes to one rehab, to another rehab, to another rehab, because some rehabs, we don't do this thorough screening of the mental illnesses. I've said that addiction and mental illness, you can never separate. You can never separate. So when you come to our facility and we fail to detect a mental disorder or a comorbidity of a mental disorder, then you will be moving from one rehab to another. That's why we talk of relapses. Some relapses are just as a result of negligence and or maybe failure to detect a problem at an early stage. So you find that this person is relapsing, and it becomes draining to the family because there's also the financial implications that comes with the person being in a treatment center.
Wow. So David, you reached at a point in your life where you want to stop drinking alcohol in Muguka. But you are unable, you're struggling. So when did you actually decide, you know what, I cannot do this alone, I need assistance? So when did you decide to go to a rehab?
The situation of drinking became worse. Sometimes I found myself sleeping in kiosks and the dogs zilikuwa zinanilamba pia usiku mahali kwa kibanda.
That's horrible.
Nikajipata pia nimelala kwa shopping center inaitwa Modern. Mahali tu kwa duka nje nimelala na ni saa 10 mchana. Nilianza tu kujipata ninakunywa ninajisahau. I started abusing people. I started becoming violent. And that is the time that I discovered that I have a problem. But mimi bado nilikuwa tu napenda tu Mungu hata bado kama nilikuwa naendelea hivyo. And I had hope that at one point I will change because pastors were very close to me. Ushaona mtu tu yani mwenye anapendwa tu na mapasta tu wengi. I'm that kind of person hata bado when I was still drinking. So they talked to me pia. They counseled me lakini bado ikashindikana. And it reached this point that my parents were to renew their vows. And I was going to job at an early morning, and I met with Catherine. It was not the first time of interacting with Catherine. And Catherine that day, she was like a godsend because she told me, you're not going to that job again. You need to change. I started crying, literally crying. She bought me a handkerchief in town. We sat down somewhere. We talked, we discussed. She called my parents at home. They agreed. So when they agreed, I took myself. I had highlighted that in our previous show. So the following day, I took myself to the care center facility. And at the care center facility, that's where I started treatment. Yeah. And at first, when I reached in the rehab, I met it's a psychiatrist. He's called Mr. Nixon Oduor. Yeah, he does this treatment to alcoholics and those people who are affected at the Presbyterian Care Center. So me, what I observed at the first day in my rehab center, Mr. Nixon had a very big sheet and a file. That is my first experience there. So I wondered, what is this for? He had a pen and a paper. He wrote a history. So I gave out my story to him, like the way I've been sharing my stories here. And we sat with him like almost 1 hour, writing and assessing. That stage, I think it's called substance addiction assessment stroke evaluation. So after I was evaluated, he made a development of my treatment plan so as to meet my treatment concerns that had taken me to Presbyterian Care Center. And that's where maybe as he accessed me, he knew which are the right medications or the right prescriptions which I am going to be offered. So the first week we started with the detoxification process. And the detoxification process, it's usually a must process for all the people who have been taken to a treatment center. And they started with the regulated medicines during that first week, and various psychological support systems, mechanisms. Yeah, we also went during that week. But that week I was not feeling myself really, because the drugs which I used at that time, ziliniweza. So as I was walking, I used to fall down. Sijijui, I don't know where I am. It reached a point hata karibu hata nijikojolee siku moja.
Karibu hapa.
You see, those drugs zinakuweza kwa sababu gani? You have been taking alcohol for around 11 years.
Now you started stopping.
Yeah, I started stopping. Na hii ilikuwa, there was no single day I used to sleep without drinking. So that day nini, I was being given those drugs and I found myself very weak at first. But at the second week, I started regaining. Even my mind started regaining, and I started feeling myself. I appreciated because we had therapy counseling. That is the one-on-one treatment and group therapy. I also, we had a fellowship with other people who are still in recovery. And the fellowship process, we started early at 8. I learned a lot of things, and one thing is that in a rehabilitation facility, the main thing that I found them doing is that they have a structured program. And with these structured programs, you find yourself that you must wake up at a certain time. Everyone must wake up. Then you do the fellowship, then you do the classes. Yeah.
That's amazing. And Catherine, you talked about the screening process, and also David has touched on detoxification. So there are people who take the addicts through that process. So who qualifies to be hired?
Oh, to be hired in a facility? In the institution like ours, let me refer from where I'm coming from. You see, the concept of having a psychiatric nurse is key, because it's the person who will do the screening and assessment and to determine whether we are doing the intake or we are doing a referral. The other person who qualifies to work in a rehab is a psychological counselor, because at one point during the program we shall do the one-on-one therapy, or what we call the individual therapy, because I said we want to address the underlying issues. Putting alcohol and any other drugs of abuse aside, we want to really know what is happening in the life of this person, and that can only happen during the individual therapy. The other person who qualifies to be in a rehab is a manager or somebody who is trained in addiction counseling, like myself, because these are the with addiction training, we are able to handle these people with the care that is needed. And again, minimizing the issues of stigma, because you can imagine all of us calling these people in the rehab, you addict, you come, you know. So such trainings are very important and very key. And the other person who qualifies is, like now, ours, sometimes we had a clinical officer, and we still contract a clinical officer, because the other thing that is very key and very important, these people will come, get treatment for mental illness, get treated on substance abuse, but again, during the program, they will also manifest issues of medical conditions. So having a clinical officer on board is also important, because I've talked about being a holistic program. So we don't want to neglect any part, the physical, psychological, and spiritual part. It's a whole component. So we also have, you know, chefs in the institution who cook for their clients, because it's a residential program. And
that is very vital.
Yes. Good meal, balanced diet. Because it also enhances the essence of, you know, giving this person, you know, remember when in active addiction, and David will tell us, nutrition is not a concern to them. As long as I've gotten my drink, and that's why you find them in the streets. Maybe this person will only ask you for 50 shillings. 50 shillings, anajua tu hiyo atapata 20 bob ni ya kukunywa, 30 bob ni ya my boiled ama mutura, and then ako sawa. So they come in with a very poor nutritional status, and therefore nutrition is also part and parcel of the program, and therefore we have people who cook for them. We also have security personnel, because security is also another tricky area, because if you don't enhance your security, these people will jump and run away. So you see now all these people, and that now makes a rehab. So with all these people, you are able now to receive patients, and you're able to offer the holistic treatment that is needed.
And do you have cases of people who escaped?
Yes, that one. Our early years, because we had not enhanced our fencing and our security, we had cases of clients who would abscond from the facility, and it's a bad process, Vicky, if I can talk about it, because you see, one thing that the society doesn't understand is that rehab is not a prison. It's not a prison, and if you bring the concept of a prison to a rehab, then the whole thing loses its meaning. In the US, if I can recall, I hear there's a program whereby you just walk in a rehab, the gates are left open. It's a model that works in the US. You just walk in, get your treatment. People are put in the rehab facility, they stay there, and there's no that close monitorship, because these people they value freedom. So here in Kenya, you have a rehab setup. Somebody brings to you a loved one. Maybe this man is over 40 or 30 years. Yes, you do the admission, and along the program, this person absconds or jumps over the fence, and he disappears. So you report the family before you go to the police, because you need to obtain an OB to be on the safe side. So the family calls, and you report them that so-and-so meruka fence. So these people will tell you, no, you know what, we only need our son from you, because we know he's in the rehab. And so you are left asking yourself, and these are the many questions sometimes we ask ourselves. This is a mature person. Yes, he has a problem. But again, in my mind, this is not a cell. This is not a prison. In as much as you want to confine them, at times you need to give them the freedom that they require. But again, this is Kenya for us. So because of the ignorance and not wanting to get the knowledge, so the family will just be on your back, produce our son. Luckily, and I thank God, because for the many years I've been in this service, no one escaped and never got home. The worry is, what if he escapes and got hit by a vehicle? What if he escapes and gets broken or injured? What do you tell the family? So it is something that we keep praying and wishing that doesn't happen. And you know, sometimes now we go to an extra mile of enhancing the security, and again tightening our our security measures, because you don't want to find yourself in in problems with the family, because they know this person is in a rehab, and so the issues of abscondment is a challenge. And I look to a point whereby people will embrace the essence of getting treated, and embracing that I'm here for treatment. Let me settle for only 90 days, and again, and then after 90 days, I am good to go. Instead of now being in a treatment and also wanting to jump and go. But there are many factors, Vicky, that will cause this person to want to jump the fence, because sometimes cravings will come in, and you cannot be able to manage them. Yeah, and especially those people who have nicotine problems, people who smoke. When the cravings hit in, my friend, they can do anything. So it's something that we look into, that people just embrace that, yes, there's treatment. And this is the awareness we are creating. That, you know, we have had stories of that rehab facilities, you will be beaten, you will be done what, there is, you know, all this mistreatment and everything. But I can stand here and say in this TV that there is no mistreatment in the rehab. After all, it's a hospital like any other. I don't know whether I should say a hospital or a school. Because, let me say a hospital come a school, because we get treated and at the same time we are learning. So if the society would understand that there's nothing harmful that happens in a rehab, then all these issues of clients jumping the fence and disappearing, I think it will be a thing of the past. And this is what I look into.
Wow, that's amazing. Do we have outpatients rehabilitation centers?
Yes, people can walk in and go, but I can say this is a program that is, let me say, sometimes it doesn't work, because there's no sense of coming to a rehab in the morning, getting the treatment, then going home, and then in the evening you're drunk, then tomorrow morning you wake up to go to a rehab facility. It doesn't work.
Because you know you'll be tempted to.
You'll be tempted. And again, being in a confined environment, it allows you to take an analysis of your life. Sometimes getting away from the noisy life, from the messed up life of your, you know, just waking in the morning, going to the jobless corner, taking mogoka and going back in the evening, you know, just visionless and formless. It becomes a problem. But now, changing environment and going to a place that, no, there's a routine. I wake up in the morning at 8, do this, and then my day ends after I do this. You know, that thing creates another, it creates another whole aspect in somebody's life. But when you're just left in the same environment, and that's also why we say that even after treatment, change the environment. Because the same environment we're used to go drinking, the same environment we're used to hang out, it's still staring at us. And that's why we have cases of relapse. Because somebody will tell you, I left rehab, the moment I alighted from the matatu, I turned, I saw the joint I used to hang up, you know, and so the test bands were aroused, and I just found myself in a club again. So these are the things we tell the family. In as much as I know it is difficult, and it comes with a lot of financial constraints, sometimes change of environment really works. It really works.
Yeah, that's amazing. And David has been smiling and laughing. You will be telling us about your experience in the rehab. But right about now, we'll be taking a short break, and I hope you're enjoying the session. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back shortly.
Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya furaha.
Je, una biashara, taasisi au huduma unayotaka ijulikane zaidi? Karibu kwenye jukwaa lako Faraja TV. Kwa supermarkets, nyinyi ndio chanzo cha mahitaji ya kila siku. Bidhaa zenu ni sehemu ya maisha ya kila familia. Tangaza nasi na wafikie wanunuzi wapya kila siku. Kwa huduma za mazishi, tunajua umuhimu wa heshima na utu wakati wa majonzi. Tangaza huduma zako kwa ukarimu, staha na huruma tunayojali. Kwa makanisa na taasisi za kidini, tunaamini katika nguvu ya ujumbe wa kiroho. Tangaza ibada, mikutano na huduma maalum ufikie waumini popote walipo. Shule na vyuo, elimu ni msingi wa maendeleo. Tangaza udahili, mafanikio ya wanafunzi au hafla zako kupitia Faraja TV. Na kwa biashara zote, saloon, maduka, hoteli, kazi za mikono, hii ni nafasi yako ya kung'aa. Sisi tunatangaza, jamii inachagua. Wasiliana leo. Faraja TV, sauti ya jamii, jukwaa la mafanikio. Tangaza, vuma, kuwa.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Blast show on Faraja TV,
where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts.
Your boy Big Man Kyuga,
and of course, Mickey Omchambuliz,
and Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on Sport Buzz.
Duka letu linang'aa sana, huduma bora kwetu daima. Sambaza upendo kwa wateja, tuna kila kitu kwa bei rahisi. Mabango kibao yanang'asia, maduka yetu yana hadhi ya hali ya juu. Wateja wanacheka huku wanunua. Chama supermarket, mimi na wewe tuko sawa. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Chama supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za uhakika. Chama supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Kwa familia tunatoa bora, bidhaa zote ni za kisasa. Ukiwa na mahitaji tutakupa. Duka letu halina mfano, na kukaribisha upate usaidizi. Habari njema zetu zinasikika mbali, kila kona tunakuwepo. Yeah, duka letu ni la dhamana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za uhakika. Chama supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za uhakika. Chama supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana.
staying with Faraja TV. This is Morning Updates. Yeah, and we are talking about rehabilitation centers. And thank you very much for joining us this morning. You can continue interacting with us through our social media handles, and that is Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya, and our SMS number is on your screen, and that is 079959. Tell us what you think about the show. We want to hear from you. Also, you can tell us what you think, particularly about rehabilitation centers. Did you knew about the things that actually Catherine has taken us through? You should also know that there is a report that was released earlier this year by the NACADA, and it said that 84% of university students are using drugs, particularly alcohol, and that is why it is very important for us to speak about drug addiction this morning. Yeah, so thank you for joining us. And right about now, take us through, David, when you were in the rehab.
Yes.
What made you push? What made you say that, you know what, I'm not going to jump over the fence, but I'm going to make sure that I have a successful story?
Yeah. Thank you very much. When I enrolled at Presbyterian Care Center, it was at first it was boring. It was not good for me hivyo, hata kama nilikuwa nimedecide nataka kwenda, you know, because of the thirstiness. So I experienced, I was very thirsty. I needed alcohol. Nilikuwa nakosa pia sometimes sleep. There's something we call insomnia.
Okay.
So I experienced insomnia. I experienced withdrawal symptoms at first time. So I was not, yani sikuwa normal kama kawaida, because I lacked something I was using. And me, the advantages that made me not to run away from the Presbyterian Care Center is that the environment that was there, it was really structured environment. And it was truly to my safety, and I knew I will recover. Then about the individual and the group therapy we had, and it's not only with any kind of person. We had licensed professionals, kina Mr. Kibara and Madam ako pale hivyo. So and Madam Catherine pia hapo na Madam Faith. So the three walikuwa natuongelesha. They are very licensed and they are very very in order, na the classes were very fine, so hazikufanya mimi ni run away. Then there is the nutritional part, the nutritional support to grow my health. You know, my body had lost a lot of calcium, vitamins, nini. So at the Presbyterian Care Center we have a chef called Chef Martin. Chef Martin is a very good chef, and he introduced various types of meals to us, what we lacked in our body. Sometimes we had chicken. We ate really balanced diet, and we really ate very well. The Dengu special nini. The nutritionist alikuwa amepanga timetable yake vizuri sana. So that is one thing that made me not run away. Mimi sikuwa naweza kumaliza sahani moja ya chakula. Weeks zikaenda, I found myself naweza kumaliza hata sahani moja na bado ninaongezea. Mr. Martin, huyo chef, akaniita jina Afaba. Afaba inamaanisha mtu mwenye akikula anaanza kuexpand tu. So at the time mimi nilienda pale, they encouraged me, they told me, hata walinipiga picha, I was very thin. Can you imagine? I had 39 kilograms. Yeah. And at the end of the 3 months nilitoka pale na 64 kgs. Hiyo ni kama mbuzi mzima ya Christmas. You see, that is one of the things that made me not run away. Then I met this friend of mine, and he's a soldier at Presbyterian Care Center. And anaitwa Mr. Rono. Rono aliniongelesha vizuri, and he told me, you see, usifurahi sana ati kukimbia kutoroka kwenda huko home. Rono told me, saizi viungo zangu za mwili, you see, he encouraged me, akaniambia saizi hata labda zinaenda kuisha. Hizi vitu venye nimekonda, labda hata system zangu zimeshrink nini. So at least I give myself time to heal. Hata hizo systems zangu zifanya nini? expand. So hiyo ni kitu moja ambayo aliniambia, and it made me not even go or run, because nilijua I'm sick na naweza enda nje nikunywe anytime, naweza anguka nikufe. So aliniambia vitu kama hizo. You see now in a rehab center kama hivyo venye madam amesema, there are people who are well trained to even to talk to us. That guy encouraged me.
Yeah.
So that thing ilinifanya. Nilikuwa nasikia hapana, let me do 1 month. Lakini while talking to them wananiambia no, just hakikisha kwanza umepona, umerebuild. And I rebuild myself na nikakuwa vyema. Yeah, Madam Vicky.
Yeah. Yes. And Catherine, what are the common challenges that you you've experienced over the years in the rehabilitation centers? As an administrator.
Okay. Yeah, challenges are many, Vicky. And some of these challenges is when a family comes to you. Normally we charge for the treatment.
Yeah.
And a family comes and tells you, I would really love my son to be here, but I have no money. And sometimes as a human being, you feel for this family. Because I would say here rehabs are very expensive. And you know, us being a faith-based and just giving back to the community, we are the cheapest around. And but even being the cheapest, not everyone will afford to have their loved ones in their treatment. So this is one challenge that I face. And sometimes, you know, in as much as I don't have bad debts, so sometimes you risk and you take this person in with as little as 10,000, knowing that the whole program runs for 105,000. But God has been so gracious, at least out of faith and you know, just praying for these families that they get the help they need, they get the finances. You find that God comes through for them. So the issues of finances is an issue. And therefore, you find that sometimes you want to carry the burden of that family. And of course, you cannot be able to pay for everyone. Sometimes you go to churches for seminars and forums, and somebody follows you after the program or after the seminar, says that I am addicted to this and this, I would love to get help, but I have no money. You see? So you're left wondering, what can I do to assist this person? You really want this person to change. But again, sometimes we have no control over what is happening around. The other challenge is the issues of what we call the burnout. Sometimes you get to hear a lot. And as a therapist and as somebody who manages a treatment facility, sometimes it's very overwhelming because the issues of burnout is like you have so much on your table, so much on your plate to do, but again time is limited, and again you know, you want this one to work, you want this to work, you're holding so much at the same time. But thank God, because we do debriefing. It's mandatory in our institution that every staff gets a debrief once every month. We have a counseling, we have a professional supervisor, counseling supervisor, who comes in once every month. So we are able to be counseled, even in as much as we also are counselors. We are able to vent out to her, and after the sessions, we now feel that we are able to continue with what we do every day. And again, there is sometimes safety and you know, safety problems. Sometimes we get clients, sometimes you know, who will sometimes be violent. Maybe a client will come and abuse you, and out of training, you're not supposed to, you know, overreact. So you're left with you know, just you know, holding yourself
because
up.
they have to feel comfortable.
They have to feel comfortable and love. Remember, I like the issues of love. This person is lacking love from the family and from the society, and then he falls on your hands, and he expects you to be an angel, you know, just perfect and offering, you know, comfort, love, and everything. So these are the challenges you face every day. You cannot beat this person. You cannot do anything harmful. Remember the core values of a counselor. One thing is confidentiality. Sometimes you are left with you've given so you know, an information that you don't know where to take it. But you're left to die with it, you know, because the issues of confidentiality. there are these professional counseling ethical values that we hold, and sometimes even sharing with another person is, you're just bound. You cannot even share. And this is something that is eating you up. But thank God, because of debriefing and the counseling supervisor who comes in, because we are allowed to share with a fellow therapist. Sometimes it weighs down the problem. The other challenges we face is that sometimes communication barriers, you know, a family comes, you're not of the same ethnic group, or you're not from the same part of the country, and the language becomes a problem. This is an old mama. Like one time I had a client, and you know, the mother would call me and talk to me in a language that I did not understand. And this mama will want me to tell her how the son is faring on. So sometimes you talk the brokest Kiswahili that you can be able to talk. Yeah, because this person is entrusted to you, and the family back home wants to know what really is happening with our son and what has been going on. So the other challenges we meet is, you know, managing people with co-occurring disorders. You know, a person who is addicted and having a mental illness, managing this becomes a problem. Because remember, you want to understand this person is a person with substance use disorder. He's also coming in with a mental disorder, and therefore when there is these episodes, psychotic episodes, you also need to know how to manage this person and to do it perfectly. Yeah, so with proper training we are able to overcome these challenges, but at times they become you know, they become a problem. Another challenge we face is that when our client comes to us, and maybe this person has a substance use disorder, had a mental disorder, and on top of that, this person is having a medical condition. And sometimes they come in with chronic medical conditions. At one point, Vicky, this person will get problem, will get worse, and as a way of, you know, at one point referring him to the hospital. This client dies on the way, or just when you're just about to be taken in the hospital. So now comes in the issues of loss and grief. And as a therapist and as you know, somebody who manages the institution, at times the weight is so big, because you know, what do I tell the family? You know, you can imagine the issues of now getting grilled by the family. Tell us exactly what happened.
They entrusted you with their...
They entrusted you with their son, and therefore you know, and that's why sometimes educating the community is very important. Because Vicky, we understand everybody is coming from a family, and we value the family component and everything concerning the family. This is your loved one. You really love this person. You went to an extent of taking him from the streets and to a treatment facility. That was pure love. But sometimes, and again, there are these things that are just beyond me as Catherine, me as the person managing the institution, Catherine as a therapist. There are things, or maybe the psychiatric nurse in that institution, there are things that are just far beyond our control. Like now somebody having a medical condition, talk about cardiac arrest. He's just caught by the situation in the facility, falls down, collapses and dies. So who is to blame? Yeah? But in most cases you find that the family will come, will be on your neck. Tell us exactly what happened. Remember this time you are grieving, because you've been seeing this person day in, day out. Every morning. Sometimes it's even more than you've stayed with him while he's sober, more than he has with the family, because maybe in active addiction, he has been in active addiction for over 20 years. So these 90 days is brought to you. He has started to get better and get well. So you've known a better person and a clean person, you know, more than the family knows this person. But now when the ungrateful happens, this person by good luck dies, and then the family is here, you know, grilling you. Tell us exactly what happened. You start narrating from point A to point B. He got ill, we took him to the hospital. On arrival, he was pronounced dead on arrival. From there, I went to the police, reported, got an OB. It is really draining and emotionally draining. And I can tell you for sure, if you don't have a proper management, then the whole thing becomes a problem. Thank God I've been working with people who are very supportive, the stakeholders and the board of management, very supportive. Because this is an incident that has really happened in our institution. We cannot just say that it has not happened, because it will continue to happen because Vicky, like I've said, some of these things, they're just beyond our control. And remember, in active addictions, there are so many vital organs that are damaged. And it is only in treatment centers because in active addiction, you continue to numb the pain. Maybe somebody is having a liver problem. He has never felt any pain because he's drunk 24/7. Now come into a treatment center, you are now free from alcohol and any drug. And now the medical conditions start now manifesting.
Wow.
This is when you find that the liver is well eaten. Amebaki na kaliva kadogo sana. This is the point you find that the pancreas is fully damaged. Yeah? This is the point where you find that the brain is fully damaged. And now the body starts screaming. You know, I'm now clean from alcohol and any substance of abuse. This body now starts to scream with pain. Because remember, in active addiction, I get drunk every day. So I don't feel any pain. But it's out of the treatment facility on the rehab that now the body starts screaming with pain. So us as counselors and people working in the rehab, we are just trying to manage cravings, withdrawal symptoms. Maybe we have that clinical officer who maybe has some also is not well advanced or maybe have some shortage of these machines to screen and see whatever is happening in the body. And that's why we are now going another route of telling the significant others or the parents, we now need thorough screening before we do the intake. Like now the liver testing, liver functioning test, it is now going to be a mandatory issue before we do the intake. Other things about the screening, proper screening of all the organs. Because when this person gets sick to a point of dying, and the family didn't know that this person was battling liver cirrhosis, it has just manifested 2 weeks after treatment and after getting sober. So who is to blame? But you see now, we have a problem because lack of information and ignorance. Yeah? Because people just ignore. People just lack information that I can take my kin to a rehab today and he dies tomorrow. Because maybe already he was poisoned from what he has been taking. Talk about people who have taken alcohol and gone blind. Yeah? Suppose the family took that person from the pub and took him direct to a rehab facility and then he gets blind in the facility. So, very many challenges in this field, but again, we say that we keep hoping for the best. Even as we do admission, sometimes we get severe cases. You know, people who are just at the verge of dying, but we have also seen them revive again and get sober and get well. So all hope is not lost. In as much as we get all these challenges, we still have hope.
You still have successful stories.
And we still have successful stories, yes.
And you're talking about, you know, maybe some patients may die during the rehabilitation process. So do you prepare the families, you know, about such cases, telling them, you know, you never know, things may happen?
Yeah. Vicky, I think you shy once you're beaten. And, you know, over the years, maybe we assume that this person will come, get well, we release him, and he goes to our books of successful stories. But over time now, it's when things happen, they become an eye-opener. So sometimes, yes, we tell the family, especially after the screening, and you see that this person, and again, the good thing is that we work closely with the family members, especially those who brought the patient to us. We inform him, and especially when people have medical issues, this is something that goes into record. David has told you that our psychiatric nurse will take a whole history of this particular person. So if there is a medical issue, because we are able to detect 1 week after the program, after we manage the withdrawal symptoms, if there is a medical issue, we are able to tell. And therefore we work closely with the family and telling them your kin is going through this and this. And because at one point we'll call them to come and assist us, pick him to the hospital, buy the medication, and then he's back to us.
Yeah. And you've also talked about finances being one of the problems that you've encountered over the years. And you know, Catherine, I'm sympathizing for that street person who may want to go to a rehab and cannot afford maybe they don't have a supportive system, like the one David had. So what about that?
Yeah, it's a challenge, and it remains to be a challenge. Because Vicky, I've told you, sometimes I go to talk with these vulnerable groups, and somebody will follow you up and tell you, and I think I'm going, like now there's one scenario I went to a seminar, and I was talking to people with substance use disorder, and after the program, one of them followed me, and he told me, you know what, for the last 2 weeks, I've been coughing blood. So it was alarming, and so I took the matter on my hand, and also I involved the church that had invited me for the program, and we took this guy to the hospital. And you can imagine he was admitted immediately. So the problem was way big, because that particular day we changad, he was taken to the hospital, and he was admitted and stayed in the hospital for close to 2 weeks. And this is a person that has been in the streets, surviving normally, but there's an underlying issue that is a big problem. So I know issues of finances. I cannot be able to pay for everyone. I cannot be able to come through for everyone. But again, you know, you keep trusting that maybe at one time we'll have a good government.
Yeah, you know, because when our deputy president was the CS of Interior, he promised us, and he said that he was going to set up rehab centers in all counties. So we are still waiting, because you know, if we can have public rehabilitation centers, things will be very, very
and they can even work out with these ones which are already in place.
And also about the government still. Sometimes back when Baraza was the CS of health, she said that SHA covers patients in the rehab. Is that true?
Yes, we have rehabs that are accredited to take insurance, but ours, we are yet to get the accreditation. We are still hoping that maybe in the future we'll get, but this is a process we've tried, and it has really costed us. So we keep hoping that maybe one time we'll get the insurance, and you see now with insurance you're able to help many people.
That is true.
And again, we also look at the program. You know, if the government will offer proper programs, and especially if there's a slot for mental health, and you know, maybe in every county we have a government rehab where people can walk in, get treated, you know, and go home. Then I think as a nation we'll have healed, because this is a problem, and it is a war that we are not winning any soon. Come to think of the statistics that you just read from NACADA, and the issues of economic status, how people are handling the issues at hand, especially at this very moment. People are so much depressed. There's another statistic that was that was released recently, still by NACADA, over, you know, I think 4 out of the 10 who are seeking medical assistance, 4 will be battling depression. 10 people in the rehab, 7 or 4 are having mental issues. So, and you know, with mental issues, these are the things that we manage for life. Come to think of it, the issues of buying antipsychotics, these medicines are very expensive. Very expensive, Vicky. Sometimes you feel for the family, because you have this person in the inpatient program, they are paying for the program, and again, this person has a psychosis or mental disorder that needs to be treated, and some of these medications are taken probably for life, and you get that a 1 month dose is costing over 10,000. So you are left feeling for this family.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a big problem, and especially matters mental health. And if you can have a good government, like I'm saying, in every county, let us have these public facilities.
Exactly.
As private facilities, we won't feel bad, because we cannot accommodate everyone.
Exactly.
But the problem at hand is so big. For another statistic from NACADA, that is last year, out of the 159 rehabs that are accredited by NACADA, because you also check by NACADA, you find that out of the 300 that were inspected, only 150 qualified or met the operating standards. That tells you what? The demand is very high, but reaching these people and giving them the help they need, or these people getting the help they require, is a problem. it's a big problem.
Yeah, the issue of demand and supply.
That is it.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. And David.
Yes.
How is life after rehab?
When I came out of rehab and I went back to the society, nilikuwa bado sija heal. So you know, you will not tell people about what you went through ama kwenye ulitoka. But they notice this guy has changed, the body has changed, he's now clean, he's wearing nice clothes. Then through the grace of God, my parents allowed me to work in their office. There at Pincam House, we deal with properties. It's called Green Ages Commercial Agency. So when my parent took me to his office, he also told me, you can go outside. I have a very supportive dad and mom. So they told me I can go outside and look for at least another job outside. I can work in their office as part-time member. And so I met a company called Midal Group. And Midal Group is a business security company. And the Midal Group has a very, very, very supportive structure that helps people who are seeking even for jobs. The Madam of Midal, Madam CEO of Midal Group, she's called Madam Mary Morgan. She's a registered counselor, by the way. So through God's grace, penye nilienda kutafuta kazi nikapata huyu Mary Morgan, CEO wa Midal. And something I realized there is that they had a psycho-spiritual awareness program in their same Midal Group. So I used to go, we had sessions from 11 to 1. So people were cancelled. Have you ever seen a company cancelling people who are job seekers? So niliona niko at the right company. So hata sikupenda sana ati kuambia ati sijui nitapata job lini ama lini, lakini nilikuwa napenda sana kwenda hizo show sababu ya hiyo kuencouragewa. You know, nilikuwa nimezoea from the Presbyterian Care Center those lessons. Na Mungu akanifungulia nikapata Midal wakakuwa na hizo lessons. So anytime nilikuwa naboeka ofisi ya my dad Green Ages, I used to go at Midal, sit down in class and kuadvisiwa. Various speakers came, various managers of various institutions like Britam walikuja wakatupatia hopes, wakaongea na sisi. And eventually Midal wakanipatia job. And wakanipatia job mahali panaitwa Vasha Drapas. Vasha Drapas deals with fabrics, the suitings materials, the reflectors, the overalls, the dust coats. So that's where Mungu aliniwezesha and I got an employment there. And I'm currently working there. And let me say that if it was not that opportunity of getting a job at Midal, I will not have been exposed. You know, now at Vasha Drapas I've been exposed. I've met a lot of people. And even up to right now, let me tell you, Madam Catherine and Madam Vicky, there are some people who are outside in the society who are saying, huyu tumemzoea, Devi atarudi. He's just pretending.
And they're just waiting.
Yeah, they're just waiting for my downfall. And there are other people who are very happy for my change. And we are even helping their family members. I even have very close family members who are willing to change. We have supportive family friends. We have supportive cousins. My cousins wanajita Get House family. And I'm seeing hata wameanza kucontribute kwangu. They are sending money and we are helping a friend, a very close cousin of mine who is undergoing treatment right now as we speak at Presbyterian Care Center. And I'm very sure he's going to change. And even hivi venye nimekuja ninaongea hivi kwa TV, there are some people there at home watching. And let me tell you, I've found very positive feedback from people. Kuna watu wamenitumia pesa. Let me talk live na niwaambia asanteni sana. They have sent me to help people. You see, madam amekwambia there are people struggling with finances. Yani ni Mungu tu hivyo. People are wanaingia tu kwa simu zao, wananipigia, wananiuliza maswali, tusaidie hivi na hivi. Yani nimepata very kind people, very kind gestures, and I really appreciate it. And my number is still active, 0707 565 895. Mtu wote mwenye anaguzika akiwa nyumbani. Unaona tunajaribu kutumia the opportunities zetu tuko nayo badala kungojea hata government. I've sent a lot of people to reach the various people in government agencies. Kuna msemo mmoja anaitwa Uncle Daddy. Nimeweza kumtuma mahali kwa Irene Joki. He's very close friend of Irene. At least aongee na yeye. Nimetumia mapie wa Irene. At least we save the people of Bahati constituency. Na mimi najua if wakinishika mkono hivi leaders huko venye madam amesema government sasa wacha sisi tuta knock hizo milango. And I know when you knock and you persist, the doors are going to be open. That is a strategy that I want to start. And nishaanza. And people are really supporting me, na tutaweza kusaidia 2 or 3 people waweze kuingia into rehabilitation centers na walipiwe. You know, can you imagine kuna mzazi alinipigia simu crying akiniambia David nitafanya nini? Crying kabisa, hata mimi pia karibu nilie kwa simu. The parent told me, mimi kijana yangu amenishinda kabisa. And mimi hata baba yake karibu afanya nini? Amfukuze huyo mama hadi nyumbani sababu you know some parents are rebellious. Afu anasema babake hata anasema haizi mlipie hiyo pesa, hiyo ni kama waste pesa. Mimi niliambiwa madam, don't worry, we are going to do our best. Tukibishabisha hizi milango na tukitisha mchango, tutaweza kwenda tumlipie huyo kijana na atabadilika. And I'm very sure one time nitakuja kwa hii show na huyo kijana. Me, I go with faith and I believe hivyo tu. So in a society setup, there are very many things that I've observed. There are those people who love what you're doing. There are those people but the thing is, the change is for me myself. Hata kukuja ku speak out in a live TV station about myself, it has taken a lot of courage. It is not easy. And I thank God to increase my courage.
Wow. Yeah, and the good thing is cousins are watching. Hi cousins.
Hi cousins, Bakuzo.
Catherine, do you have reintegration programs?
This is something, Vicky, that is still a problem, but it's supposed to be part of the program. We call it the Continuum of Care. Continuum of Care is whereby we take the client back to the community and we introduce him back to where he came from. But again, Vicky, we are still bound by stigma. You see now, David coming out and saying, yes, I went to a rehab and I'm now okay, is one among 1,000 that will wish to go out and say, I've been to a rehab. So sometimes we really want to go back, take this person to the community, but the client is not willing for us to go with them. The family is not also willing that the neighbors to know that this person was in a rehab. So it's something that is also coming with a lot of challenges, though it's part of the program. I've said we call it the Continuum of Care, but now what we do phone calls, follow-ups through phone calls. We call to know how this person is faring on, is he still doing the recovery. Sometimes we connect them with recovery coaches because we have a few in Kenya. We also connect them to drop-in centers. We used to have one in Nakuru. I don't know whether it's still operating, but we tell them to look for support groups, especially the AA groups or these people who do the recovery thing. Because when you look at the issues of addiction, I've told you it's so wide. It's meant that after treatment, we go now to recovery, and this person is supposed to walk the journey of recovery with another person. So like David now, after he gets 10 years sober, he qualifies to hold another person's hand and to work. We call them the sponsors or recovery sponsors. That they're able to hold the hand of another person who is in recovery and walking the journey with them. So we have, yes, the Continuum of Care, but again, so many challenges because the stigma is still very fresh in the society. People don't want to let go. And just say that, yes, my son went into a rehab for 90 days, and these are the people that he has been with. We are now bringing him back to church, and we are handing him over back to you. So we are still bound, but we continue doing our bit where we get the opportunities, like now doing the follow-ups through the phone.
Wow. And we are way past time, but you can just tell us anything you feel we missed out.
Thank you, Vicky. It's an honor to be here once again. Thank you, and I take this as an educating program or platform because people perish for lack of knowledge. And sometimes when we are enlightened and educated on some matters that we assume, then we get to be better on ourselves, and again we don't judge the other people who are going through the problem. We say that we are all coming from different spaces, and it is always good to be kind. And because when you understand that this person in the society is behaving this way because he has been through a lot and is coming from this space, so I'll treat this person differently from the way I would have treated him or her without knowledge. So knowledge is key, knowledge is wealthy, and we say that sometimes we do things out of ignorance. Like now, most of my friends or some of my friends will ask me, unashindaga aje na wenda wazimu? And this is something that has really, it really puts me off for sure, because I'm like, out of ignorance, that's why you're asking me that. But if you have taken some few minutes of your time, visit me in the office and get to see what I do, then that's such an you know, such a question will not come from somebody who wants to get knowledge. Because like I've said, sometimes we brand people names that are not supposed to, you know, they are so discriminating. Like now saying that you work with you know, it doesn't augur well to me. And this is where my point is. Let us not shun away from getting information. Sometimes this information is just open and free. I will not charge you to come to my office and ask me, can you take me around? What happens in the rehab center? Can I see your daily schedule of what you do? Can I see your curriculum? What do you cover within these 3 months? It is well pinned on the wall. Just read and get all this information. So to the viewers, my point is, let us seek this knowledge. It is very free, and you can help your loved one. And again, understanding matters on addiction. We stop discriminating these people. We say at one point that addiction has no face. And again, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care whether you are learned or not, or from which family you come from. We are all vulnerable. So let us be kind. Let us get this knowledge, because that's why we are here. And that's why we got this knowledge, just to share. Because if I have all this information and I stay with it doesn't help me. But I need to share it out, because I know I want to assist somebody outside there.
So you can also share your contacts and where you're located.
Yes, Presbyterian Care Center, we are located in Mbaruk, Eshareria Center. Our office number is 0707 999 214, 0707 999 214, and my personal number is 0717 922 373. Again, I am Catherine Ngugi. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
David.
Thank you very much. It's very high time that people out there should know that drug and alcohol abuse or any other using any type of drug is a menace to our society. I'm calling upon the young people to stay alert, stay focused, listen to what we are speaking out here in the media. We are such good examples. God had mercy on me. I would have died, but God aliona nipate second chance niishi, niweze kuelezea na niguze mtu na nisaidie. I want to thank everybody who is watching this show, and all those people who are even continuing to increase me and giving me motivation to even pay for these people who need treatment. Those people who will come on board and chip in something to my personal phone number so that we go out there and start something very good, very massive. Even visit the children's homes. I have even pastors who have children homes, like a pastor called Pastor Jenga. He has been talking to me. We can even go to these institutions with pastors. All those pastors wenye wamekuwa kinishikilia huko nyumbani. Nataka nikuwe na kikao na siku moja tutembelee hizi centers. And najua tutapata funds za kuenda na kusupport watu. Kina Pastor Maweu, kina Pastor Lucas, Pastor Jenga, Makori, Pastor Olang of AIC Lanet, and all the members of AIC Lanet wenye walikuwa wananiombea. That's my mother church. You see me, I believe that very many people are going to change, and very many people are going to be focused. Another thing is that there are those people who have changed and are silent. Simba. There are those people who have changed like me and are speaking out. You know, in life and in psychology, Madam can tell you, we have people of 4 different, what do we call, personalities. We have the cholerics, we have the phlegmatics, we have the sanguine, and we have the, what else, the melancholics. So me, I believe myself, I'm a sanguine because I'm outspoken and I talk to people. have researched myself and seen, and I'm also a melancholy. Yeah, because I'm also a leader. Yeah, and I will try and MCA Lanetu Moja word, and I hope people will embrace and choose me. Yeah, I want to thank each and everybody, all the people. I want to thank the church. Last week at TV47 we were speaking with Madam a topic about alcoholism and drug abuse. And when I listened to everything that the show of the TV47 highlighted about mental health, the church members, they want to support these systems, and I really want to thank them. Kina Bishop Ben tutawatafuta, kina philanthropist wote, Mr. Honorable Mike Mbuvi Sonko nitakutafuta tukae chini tuongee. Thank you very much. Sina mengi ya kusema.
And it is possible to be drug free.
It is possible to be drug free. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Catherine and David, for gracing our show this morning. This has been a very educative show. There are many things we've learned that we never knew about the Rehabilitation Center.
Yes.
And you're doing a great job in the society. May God bless you for being servants.
Amen.
Thank you, Vicky.
And I've been speaking to Catherine Bugi, Administrator, Presbyterian Care Center. She's also a counseling psychologist and a trained addiction counselor. And also David Gitao, he's a reformed alcoholic, and I also known today that he's a CEO.
Yeah, I have a very good Facebook page with 14K followers and 14K. I know it will inspire a lot of people. It has a very rich, wide audience. It's called Fresh and Clean Mtaani Mental Awareness Club. Yeah. May God see the club to another level.
Yeah, thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Vicky.
you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we are going to have this again and again and again. At least until our society know about these things, because I just feel we've been ignorant for a long time. Yeah, that has been amazing. And now we are closing our show, but continue sticking with Faraja TV. I've been your host, Vicky Kito. This is Morning Updates. Let's do this again tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Have a blessed day.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Je, una biashara, taasisi au huduma